Hello everyone, I'm Shadow here. Today I finally returned for one video. This is to describe this current Syndicate. Apologies for not posting, and as you can tell the game looks a lot different. The last time I even posted was actually when this game was still as Asphalt 9 Legends. So here we are today to talk all about it. So let's start off with the main focus of this video, Drive Syndicate 11. What was different here, and why was it so good for a lot of the player base? Now, as you can see here, the progress bar is completely full. So that means I have 100% of this Syndicate to the best of my ability. In other words, I have unlocked the Striker. Yes. But let's go through why it worked and why it was easier. So we might as well go over to the car section and show off each of the cars individually. So starting things off, we had to start with the Hyundai Ioniq 5N. Now this car was very available. There was a lot of events. There was a couple of events we could get. Blueprints, the Hyundai Experience rounds gave you about 5 blueprints. And there was just loads of other things that you could just get stuff for this car. And not to mention, it's also the Legend Pass car of this season. So, yeah, relatively cheap car there. And one thing to note, that at the 73,000 mark, you got 15 blueprints for this car, rather than you having to 2-star initially, and then use those blueprints to help 3-star. So because of that, some people could have done the star up cheaper. So because of that, it was an easy stage, and I think I spent about 15,000 Syndicate coins, if that. And yeah, easy stage complete. Next car. Ferrari Monza SP1. Also a very easy car to get. Had multiple showroom events, in fact a constant showroom event, and in some cases, even a car hunt, which I utilised to 3-star it, and then maxed it from the Syndicate. I had a couple of epics, applied them for top speed and nitro. But yeah, because of the car's availability, made it pretty easy to progress through this stage. There's not much really else to report here, except for the fact that the stage could be done with 2 stars, but 3 stars would help you get the pin missions done. Next car. Buratelia Berlinetta. Now, at the start of the Syndicate, I had this car 2 stars, and I was not really confident, at all. So I had to be careful, because I wasn't sure how I was going to do this. Although, at the start of the Syndicate, there was a special little car hunt that helps you start up this car for free. So I went from 2 stars to 4 stars in the hunt, and the free blueprints helped me to max this car for free. As you can see, there's been quite a few cars with easy events to continue and get through the Syndicate. Once you upgrade the Striker to 1 star, you can then progress past its stage and get to the Valhalla stages. Now, again, another easy car. The Valhalla has been out since the first British season, which was at least 3 years ago, roughly. So you've had plenty of opportunities and multiple bursts of speeds and packs in order to start up this car relatively cheaply. Now, I myself had it 5 stars before the Syndicate started, and with my excess Syndicate coins, I decided to max it for free, which was really nice. I think I spent 120,000 and got 14 blueprints, which was pretty nice. But yeah, overall, another easy thing. And the last car may not have been as easy, but there were still chances to get it. The Bugatti La Fortuna Noir. Now this car was what the hardest one was of all the cars required, because this car isn't exactly that common. It's had a couple of bursts of speed, so you've got blueprints there, but it's not really been available to a lot of the player base. Unless you're a Switch player, and yet we have to remember the Year of the Beast event. Now, the Year of the Beast gave us this car at 2 stars for free, but I went and 3-starred it before that event, during that event. So I got it to 3 stars with about 4 blueprints on the 4th, up to get really close to the 4th star. So I needed 56 blueprints. Collected the 25 initially, and because I had the key, I used the 3 free S3-star wildcards in order to get to 32. Yeah. So it was a case of just buying blueprints and packs in order to try to start up that way. So overall, it took me about 300,000 in order to start up this car to 4 stars. I decided to start up early in order to progress closer and do more higher hazard levels in order to maximise payout. But overall, another easy stage for me. So the only roadblock I had after that was the striker itself and storing up that. And as you can see here, I've got the key. Now, obviously, this car requires in total about 1.7 million Syndicate coins to upgrade, let alone storing up the car in general. I spent, I think, to 2 star it took 225,000, and to 3 star it took, I'd say around about 350-ish maybe. But overall, a pretty easy Syndicate regardless. So what went well? Well, for starters, obviously as you see I've done every pin mission. Obviously, we have to talk about requirements. As I mentioned before, very easy requirements. Now as you notice here, 73,000. Usually, the stage starts at 74,000. So because of that, you're able to get 15 blueprints without actually needing to start up the car. Same thing happened with the Monza in its stage at 179,000. You would have needed to have got 180,000 in order to progress. Now, because of the fact that all the cars were relatively cheap and common, most people could get beyond these stages and probably get to here. Most people got stuck around about this bit here because they couldn't 4-star the car. Now, obviously, this was probably one of the most difficult bits of the Syndicate. However, if you had all the other support cars maxed and had the LVN and moderate strikeout, you could get past this stage and get the key. And then obviously, it's just a case of just grinding for the striker. Now, I was quite surprised because I was very unconfident in myself to get the striker in general, but I managed to complete it with relative ease. But what is bad about this Syndicate? Now, the problem with this Syndicate though was the easy requirements. Now yes, you might be thinking, Shadow, did you not just say that the easy requirements were a good thing? And you'd be correct. The easy requirements definitely made the Syndicate feel a lot less grindy. And another change that I forgot to mention before, the Monza stages got buffed from 2,000 Syndicate coins to 5,000 Syndicate coins per pin mission. So finishing them, rather than taking about 7 races, only took about 3. So it was a lot easier to finish them off. But off topic, because of the car requirements being so easy, a lot of people felt disheartened because they could not get the LVN. Now, because the LVN is obviously needed at 4 stars and is quite hard to get to that rank, a lot of people felt a bit like, hey, I've done all this Syndicate and I had all the cars maxed, but the only thing I've gotten out of it was a Hyundai. And I understand that, to be honest. At first, I was pretty confident about the Syndicate now knowing that I could do all the stages. But I kind of felt for players because I realised to myself, all of this, and yet you're not getting anything out of it. So while the Syndicate is great, the problem with the easy requirements is it means that because you already have those cars unlocked, you won't get as much out of it as other people would have hoped to have gotten. So, does it make it a bad Syndicate? No. If anything, it's one of the best we've had in a long, long time. But if we're talking about perspective, is the striker actually good in terms of the Syndicate cars? No. It's not good. It's just, it's not great. Its stats are moderately balanced for the rank. It's not really a bad car. It drives nicely, but a lot of people have compared it to the Koenigsegg Regera. So realistically, it's not really that great if you get it compared to that. So in other words, if you didn't get the striker, do not feel disheartened. If anything, the better car was the LVN anyways. And yeah, I'd like to say, apologies for not uploading. I just haven't had the feeling to record a YouTube video. But I'd like to have talked about the idea of the Syndicate because of how happy I was about it. I'd also like to discuss the other events that have happened recently, including the Mayhem event, which happened last season, and I was able to get quite a few blueprints in order to unlock a couple of new cars, such as the SF90XX, the Noble M600, and a bunch of other cars along those lines. Oh, and the support car, the Modificata. Yeah. Now, currently there's an Easter event going on, which gives you a lot of blueprints for other cars, primarily the Per Sport, which I might try to max. I hit 5 stars there, but aside from that, not too bad. So, overall consensus, is the Syndicate good? In short, yes. In the long run, not so great. Does the strike hold up in terms of where it is in Class S? No. It's given a rank of 5,070, golden, but it only competes with something around the rank of 4,600. As you can see, it sits above the LVN itself, but sits below cars like the Gamera and the Vian. So overall, while it's not the best Syndicate car, it's very cheap. So if I would say anything, I would say try your best in this Syndicate. And hopefully, you may be able to unlock it too. But with that, I bid farewell. Good day to you all.